names. You can introduce everyone.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As we start, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land upon which we meet, the Yagara people. We pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging. We also extend that respect to those gathered here this morning.
Welcome. My name is Stephen Bullough. I am the Chairman of Firehawks. Today, Firehawks formally announced its intention to submit an expression of interest to be the 17th team in the National Rugby League competition. Please appreciate that we do not want to go into detail about our proposal until all proposals have been provided to the Australian Rugby League Commission, and we may not be able to answer all questions because we have agreed with the Commission not to do so. I now introduce to you the CEO of Firehawks and Brisbane Tigers, Brian Torpy.
Thank you. Well, here I'd like to make some introductions. To my right, Shane Richardson from Rich Digital, and Brent Richardson, CEO of Rich Digital, so with us today. As Stephen mentioned, the Firehawks will submit an expression of interest to become the NRL's 17th team and the 4th team in Queensland. Part of the Brisbane East Group, the Firehawks are a new breed of club that promise to energise the future of rugby league. Being part of the Brisbane East Group, we have a very strong balance sheet with over $80 million in assets and cash and no debt. Our cash holdings provide excellent working capital capability, which is of vital importance for any new startup venture. In regards to our name, the Firehawks name has great significance to this promise. Australia's first people have spoken of these raptors for tens of thousands of years. Firehawks are raptor birds that hunt with fire. These birds harness the landscape to corner their prey. Like the legendary bird of prey, the Firehawks are hunters, not cannibals. Like the Firehawk, we are a unique Australian brand. Our colours are bold and represent our history and our home. The black and orange pay homage to the Brisbane East Tigers, whilst the blue and gold are the official colours of Brisbane, our home. The Firehawks is going to be different and attract new fans. We have taken a look at the best companies in the world and how they approach their fan and audience base. This includes the LA Lakers, Red Bull and Spotify. Firehawks will be a team for everyone. Our approach to audiences and fans is what we're really excited about. The Firehawks experience will be like no other in the NRL today. The Firehawks experience, while originating in Queensland with a focus on local participation, will hold a strong benefit that you can be a Firehawk fan wherever you are. Entertainment will be at our forefront of everything we do, at every touch point. We won't cannibalise broadcasts, but add and engaging ways for fans to enjoy the Firehawks experience. The Firehawks Way is a critical commitment to be part of the club. The Firehawks Way will set the foundation of the club. It's for everybody, not just the players alone. Everyone in the club must contribute to ensuring the principles are enacted in the community. This is our promise to live and act by the Firehawks Way. It spans our 3 O's: online, on field and off field. We'll focus on developing Queenslanders, including players, coaches, support and front office staff. We will assist areas which will benefit from greater support and will take the fight to our rival codes in both southeast and central Queensland by anticipating participation with the establishment of junior clubs and talent-based academies. This year we will commence construction of our new $7.5 million Community Centre of Excellence, which will become the home of the Firehawks. An experienced and diversified board is paramount. Our board has over 200 years of combined experience in the areas of governance, strategy, law, accounting and finance, youth work, marketing and rugby league administration. Our 7-person board will include 3 independents. That will include we'll take questions from the floor if you like, or if you prefer we can break and we'll have tea and coffee and you can ask some one-on-one questions.
So can I ask one-on-one questions now, or we'll do questions now, or we can do one-on-ones
if you're required, particularly for television.
I'm happy to do it now, yeah.
Yeah, good.
Brian, just in relation to what the Guernsey might look like, community involvement with the design of that, is that the plan?
Yeah, well, our colours, we've gone through that. It'll be black and orange, gold and blue.
Sorry, can you just close the laptop? Yeah.
Sorry, there we go. So yeah, there's opportunity for the community to get involved in the journeys designed. We're looking for something that's probably traditional but still a little bit modern. So we can look at that opportunity when, if we get the bid.
Why should the NRL pick you guys over the two clubs at the moment?
Yeah, sure. I've been asked the question before. But what we're focusing on is our bid. We can't talk about the other bids or what they're doing. But probably go through where we're financial, we're strong, but we'll focus on our bid and get that done first.
Does being a Brisbane team as opposed to Redcliffe and Ipswich who are outside of the Brisbane area, does that give you an advantage?
We'd like to think that we're going to be a national brand based in Brisbane. So we want to appeal to all Australians, but be based in Brisbane.
What do you think the strengths are?
Well, we've gone through that, so obviously we've got a good financial balance sheet, we've got a good bid. I can't go into too much detail, as we've said. We've touched on it in what I've just said. We'll just focus on that and get it over the line.
If I could just interject, as I said in my opening remarks, we don't want to go into detail about our proposal because we want all proposals submitted before we even consider doing that, because we have such confidence in that proposal, and we believe that it's in our interest not to do so because of the way in which it's different, just as we will be different. Secondly, we've got to be cautious about what answers we give to questions, having regard to an agreement we've made with the Commission.
Because Brian, is the strength of your age as well? Founded in, I think, 1917, so you're a century old. That's a massive.
That's right.
That's a sign of longevity.
That's right. We were originally started as Cooperoo in 1917, became Eastern Suburbs Tigers in 1933. So this is our 105th year as a football organisation based at Cooperoo.
Can you talk to us a bit about the Centre of Excellence and what that will bring?
Yeah, sure. So whilst we've invested about $55 million in infrastructure here in the club, we're looking to improve our facilities football operations wise. So it'll be a new centre, new buildings, all new players' change rooms, facilities, rehab. Upstairs we'll have administration offices, so it'll support all the staff that are required for an NRL club.
And by the way, that's already in place. So the dirt will be turned in October. So it's not, so the East are committed, or Brisbane Tigers are committed to the long-term future of rugby league in the area, not just whether they get the bid or not. I think the second thing about you should really understand, and it's a good point from yourself, Peter, this is a club with 105 years of history, financial history, participation history, and performance history. 105, it's unheard of. The second thing is it's a club that is unbelievably financially, even though they don't go out and beat their chests, unbelievably solid financially, and more importantly, are into development now. They're opening their own junior clubs in the West, et cetera, et cetera. So they've got a commitment well beyond an NRL franchise to do what they're doing, and they will continue to commit to it on the way through. So I think you've got to, but on top of that, the history of this club and the greatness of this club in the past is one thing. But I've learned that history can hold you back as well. You've got to be modernised in a modern sporting club to compete in the NRL or against the AFL or anybody else. If you haven't got a modern approach, a digitally based approach to work what you're trying to do to try and attract new fans to the club, you're going to fail. Because the last thing you need to do is cannibalise the ones that are already there. New sponsors and new people, what the club wants to chase. So it's important to have the history, and they've got a great history, and they can beat their chest about the history more than anybody else in Queensland. But the reality is, the board has seen that to take this to the next level, they have to be involved in a new modern approach to the game. Now, you might say what the details are. Brent might be able to give you some details on the digital side, but really we can't go in a lot of depth because, as Steve says, we can't really give away what we're putting in the bid. Brent,
do you mind just moving your chair across?
Yeah, sure.
Brent, how does
Lucky to fit me in, mate, at all.
look like?
Yeah, mate, I think, the new way of being a sporting club and entertainment business, right, is young people particularly want experiences and they expect to be entertained wherever they find you, right? And a lot of those touch points are online. So someone like a Spotify, the way they build loyalty, the way they build a personalised approach with your own certain playlists at the end of it that makes you feel, you know, loyal and a part of it and continuing to pay for that subscription service, that's really important. So how do we build that environment where it feels like a personalised experience being a Firehawk member and being able to enjoy that wherever you are, whether it's at the game, whether it's online, whether it's at Firehawk nests around Brisbane or in Adelaide, you know, how do you then get to, you know, engage and be experienced as a great Firehawk fan, regardless of whether you can get to the game or not? And these digital companies in that sense, like a Spotify, Netflix, and if you think about, you know, your own consumption of those, or what you really enjoy is, you know, how it sort of understands you and provides, you know, a better experience based on what you've previously done. And that's really important to us. The Lakers, you know, and these are US franchises, how they make a great experience at the game, the entertainment. But, you know, we've got a lot of kids here that are buying, you know, NBA jerseys every day, and they're buying different pieces of merchandise from overseas teams. You know, why aren't we creating that here as well, where it's really cool to wear something that the Firehawks have created? You know, it's really cool to be a part of that community. So that's really important. That's where we take some of those expertise from those businesses.
Shane, why did you decide to be part of supporting this bid?
Well, I was president of the club here for a period of time. The last time I won a premiership, well, I you know, it's been my club. I coached here, and then I was, you know, chairman of selectors and president. So it was always my club. I'm on the wall outside, underneath Des. So yeah, and then they just approached me and said, look, would you be interested? And we were doing the business with Rich Digital, which is really about, you know, digital promotion and digital work with players and IPs, etc. And it was just a great opportunity, to be totally honest. And to be fair, we were astounded by how positive the board was to accepting a changed bid to go forward. And, you know, we've been working on this for 12 months now. This is not something we just snapped up overnight. I heard somebody say the other day, oh, it's going to be rushed. It's not rushed for us. We're ready. All we've got to do is fill in the gaps, because, you know, we've been working and polishing it and passing it past the board and getting criticism, and Ryan coming down to Sydney. And so this has been going on for a long while. What we haven't done, though, is beat our chest. We haven't gone out there, and today's not about beating the chest. Today's just telling you we're in, this is why we're in, this is who we are, and we're going to have a different approach. And as Steve said, we can't go into detail of that approach, but I can assure you it's detailed.
What do you think that says about the confidence of your bid then, if others are beating their chest and you're sort of flying under the radar a little?
Well, you know, I think these guys have invested money to get this bit up and running. And I think Brian summed it up the other day. You know, if you go on the wall outside, you see it stop at Rod Morris's in Australian jerseys. I mean, this club was all about creating the next great Australian player from Queensland. And, you know, it'd be a proud day when we put that in the wall, Brian. I'm sorry, Brian, I'm jumping in.
No, absolutely. No, that's really important to us. I mean, it gives us opportunity. You know, we were in the top league in Queensland before the Broncos came in. We had Brisbane, Queensland, Australian representatives. We want to be back there again. We think we can get back there again. We've got the capability to get back there again. And, you know, we'd love nothing more to see, you know, the next State of Origin player coming out of Langlands Park.
And me again interjecting, sorry. But I've been bemused, to be honest, in the last 12 or so, or even longer, when clubs run around saying, oh, we're talking to this or that person as a coach, or this or that person as a player. I mean, really? I mean, it's obvious that the successful team is going to talk to the best coaches and the best players available at the time. That's a given. We didn't need to say that, and we will do that. We already do have in mind coaches. We already do have in mind players, but now it's not the time to talk about it, because I just believe it's inappropriate until we are the selected entity.
And also, it's all about our bid. It's nothing to do with who the coach is going to be, because everyone's, you know, be a brain surgeon to work out who the coaches. They're sitting out there now, and there's a couple of Queenslanders amongst them. So, but what I'm saying, today is all about the bid. It's not about saying who the coach is. We're trying to say this is a fantastic organisation that today is just standing up saying that we're bidding for it, and that we have the wherefore behind and in the forward view of what a club should be.
Richard, so you put a few rosters together. Is there enough time to get a competitive roster for 23?
Well, it's very simple, isn't it? I mean, if you know contracts, what's the date you can start dealing with anybody who's off contract in 23?
You can register a contract from November, but
1st of November. So you're not allowed to speak to them until the 1st of November. So at the end of the day, from the 1st of November 2022 to the end of, 2021 to the 31st is a long time. And there's, everybody knows what players are off. Everybody, and clubs are running out and signing. Who cares about that? Because at the end of the day, how you put your roster together and how, the quality of your organisation from the top to the bottom is how you win premierships. You don't just win premierships by just putting a roster together. You've got to have the coaching staff, the structure, the support. And this is a footy club. This is a goddamn footy club. I mean, that's always has been. That's what it's here for, footy. That's what this league's club is with the football club. So, we're all about footy and winning, but at the end of the day, they also know about financial responsibility and the fact that you need to actually think it through thoroughly and have the right people in place. And the other 12 months, if they got it, were fortunately to put all the structures in place. The structures aren't hard to put in place.
Richard, as an extension to that, because they'll make the decision in July, you're hoping you get dispensation from the NRL as a runway to sign players earlier, because there's probably no point waiting until November 1 to start talking to players. Do you hope that they let the new team start from July to start signing?
Don't worry us, mate. I don't think it'll worry anybody here. It's just not relevant. It really isn't relevant. What's relevant is that we bring Queenslanders home, have Queenslanders promoted internally, and that we actually work really hard on the roster to make sure we don't overbalance it, which is what happened with startups before. But that's just, that'll take time. If you can't put it together in 15 or 16 months with a clean slate, how good's this? It's a clean slate. You're not inheriting all these contracts. Richo's done the wrong thing here, this bloke's done... There's none of that crap. It's just you start off with a completely clean slate. So we started with a club with a completely clean slate. So that's a real benefit. You've got no contracts you don't want, players you don't want, and the quality of the culture of the people. You get to decide that from the beginning as well. So it's not. It's whoever gets it. If they ruin it, it's such an opportunity. There's no way the 17th team shouldn't be in Brisbane. Just no way. Okay.
Any more?
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Any one-on-ones, guys, for dinner?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, if that's all right.
Yep.
Having morning tea as well, everyone, so please help yourself.
And if the filming's finished, the toilet...